Thank you so much for joining us tonight for Lexicon. My name is Evan Verplu. I am the program manager here at the International Relations Council in Kansas City. It's wonderful to see you all on the program tonight. Tonight we are very pleased to welcome Marti and Jim Wilson of the Ethnic Enrichment Commission here in Kansas City, and they're going to be going through the Indonesian language. We've looked forward to this program for a long time, and we thank them very much for donating some of their time this evening. For those unfamiliar with the IRC, we are a nonpartisan, apolitical organization that provides a platform for greater understanding of international topics and how they intersect with the Kansas City community. The only thing that I'll ask is tonight, we'd certainly love to field your questions. And I'm sure Jim and Marti will be happy to answer anything that you have to ask. But we just ask if you're not speaking, just to keep yourself on mute. That way we can avoid any audio interference throughout the program. But feel free to come in with a question either verbally when the time's appropriate, or to use the chat function. I'll be happy to relay it to Jim and Marti. We will be broadcasting this event live to Facebook and also recording it. So tomorrow I'll be sending everyone a link to follow up with the program if there's anything that you'd like to revisit. If you'd like to connect with us further, you can always head to our website, irckc.org. We have a ton of great upcoming events as part of our film club, as part of this Lexicon series. In a couple weeks, we'll be going through the Arabic language. So if you're not familiar with the IRC, we encourage you to head by the website, and hopefully we'll see you at a program in the future. Again, thank you so much for being here tonight on a historic day, an inauguration day. I know there's a lot of festivities and stuff going on virtually that hopefully you'll be able to maybe engage in after this program, but we appreciate you being here now. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Jim and Marti.
Okay.
Selamat datang.
That means welcome in Indonesian.
I'm Marti Wilson, the Indonesian Commissioner for the Ethnic Enrichment Commission.
And my name is Jim Wilson. I'm Marti's husband. I've been living in Kansas since I was a kid. I went to Minnesota to go to college and ended up back in Kansas City. But Marti has a different story.
Yes, I was born on the island of Java, but grew up on the island of Papua. And being tomboy and very curious, I remember vividly spending my days after school or on weekend by climbing trees, walking to the jungle, visiting with a native Papuan family, walking on the beach, looking for turtle eggs, swimming on the beach, looking for shrimps, or building a raft with wood that I found on the beach and floating away to the ocean. My skin got really dark because stayed on the beach in the sun too much. I learned the traditional dance since I was little, and when I found out I was going to join my sister in Minnesota, I took a private lesson, Balinese dance, and I passed my knowledge to my daughters. And as soon as I enrolled at Winona State University in Minnesota, I joined the international club so I can promote my country. And I did the same at UMKC. And joining Balinese Gamelan group and EEC is a good thing for me to continue promoting Indonesia with the rest of the Indonesian community and family.
Yeah. So Indonesia is from the Greek word Indos and Nessos, which means islands near India. And Indonesia is made up of 18,000 islands. Marti's going to show you a little map here that shows Indonesia. The time is 12 hours different from Kansas City. So when it's 10 a.m. here in Kansas City, it's 10 p.m. in Indonesia. So it's an unusual time zone difference.
Maybe Evan, how can we share our screen?
The function should be available to you down at the bottom middle of the screen. There's a green button there.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see it.
That's not you.
Okay.
Well, I'll continue for a few seconds here, for a little while. So it's the fourth largest country in the world. Indonesia has 270 million people. There are, well, China, India, and United States are the larger countries, but Indonesia is made up of 270 people on 6,000 of those islands that are inhabited. It's kind of neat that Indonesian language it's a very new language, and it's pretty simple, as you'll see as Marty goes on. All those islands have 300 different ethnic groups, and so there's a lot of different languages spoken in Indonesia. And so back in the early 19th century, the powers that be thought we need to bring the people together, not by using the three most common groups were Javanese, Balinese, and Sundanese. And they said, we don't want to take one of those languages and make them the most powerful group in the country. We're going to make a simple language that everybody can communicate together, Bahasa Indonesia. And in that case, it makes it easy for even a small group of people to be able to communicate with people in a big city, and opens business doors, open educational doors. And so it tried to make it more equal for a very diverse country. Their motto is unity and diversity, because there's so many different type of people in Indonesia. There's been a lot of influence by colonists too, like the Dutch and the Portuguese and the Arab country. So this is a good slide that Marty can show you kind of where she grew up. When her father was working as a civil servant, they traveled all over Indonesia. She really got to see Indonesia in a variety of ways.
Okay, yes. So this is where I was born, on the island of Java. As Jim already mentioned, Indonesia has 18,000 islands. I guess it's depending on.
Yeah, I guess if it was low tide, 19,000 islands, high tide, 18,000 islands. And then, like she said, 6,000 of them are inhabited.
Yeah, so this is Java Island, and the word Java, I guess most of you, I think, familiar, because Starbucks Java coffee and all the Sumatran coffee they are from here. So I was born right here, and then I grew up on the island of here is Papua. Oh, okay. So these are the native people I was talking about, our neighbors. It's not very close to the house, but I like to climb to the jungle to find them. So the next slide is what are we going to do? Oh, about the language.
Mm-hmm. These are the important ones.
I think we might have lost your screen share.
Okay, she's starting it over. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, go back. Oh, how can I go back? Okay, here. Here's the Indonesia. Indonesian or Bahasa Indonesia is official language of Indonesia, simple and easy to learn. No gender, words look like how they are spelled. No syllabus, emphasis, plural, easy. Say it twice. So if you have a child, anak, you have children, anak-anak. So if you have one book, buku, you have many books, buku-buku, right? Easy, right? So it's really important though, if you travel to Indonesia, you speak a little bit of Indonesian, like how to go to the bathroom, how to find food, how much everything is.
The majority of the people in Jakarta know some English. That's the big city. But if you're going to travel to outside of Jakarta, it also makes people feel good when they hear you try to speak Indonesian. There's quite a few people that can speak some in English, but they really like it when they can hear you say a few phrases in Indonesian. It means at least you're trying. So it's fun.
So like I said, Indonesian doesn't have tenses. Past or future tenses requires inserting words that indicate some of the words, like telah, sudah, akan, sedang, kemarin. And sentences usually begin with subject and then followed by verb and then an adjective. For example, you want to say?
Well, saya makan nasi is
I eat rice.
right. And then if saya telah makan nasi,
I ate or have already eaten rice.
and then the bottom one is saya makan nasi kemarin.
I ate rice yesterday.
So It's a lot of vocabulary. If you can get the vocabulary in Indonesia, you can probably survive pretty well. That's how I survived.
So, okay, before we go to the alphabets, the pronunciation. Indonesian letters represent only one sound and doesn't have an accent mark. Like I said before, no syllable emphasis. Indonesian used to be written in Arabic, but now since 1949, the government introduced us to Roman letters, or requires only Roman letters, like single vowel, A, E, I, O, and something like that. Okay, so okay, I will say the alphabets in Indonesian. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So you know what I mean? Only one letters, one sound. And question words can be added to the sentence, like siapa for who.
And apa would be what.
Kapan for when.
Di mana is where. Dari mana, where from.
Mana which.
And bagaimana, how.
Mengapa, why. So in Indonesian, both subjective and objective pronouns are the same. Possessive pronouns are slightly different in informal situation only. So formal for I, you, he, we is saya, anda, beliau, kita, or kami, anda, mereka. And you will have this slide later. And the word order is?
Well, a modifier normally follows the noun they modify, like in the example there. Dua anjing coklat. Indonesian, dua means two, anjing is dog, chocolate is brown. So it'd be a two dog brown. In English, of course, we say two brown dogs. So it's the modifiers first, and then the quantifier precedes the noun. I'm sorry, backwards.
Same as satu baju panjang. Is satu is one, baju is dress. Panjang is long. So, and then adjectives. Adjectives come after nouns. For example,
buku, remember, is book, and merah is red, so red book.
Rumah is house. Putih is white house.
And same with kuda. Kuda is horse, and kuda hitam, black horse.
So numbers. It's very important when you travel to Indonesia, you know numbers. And here's the numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yep. And seratus and seribu. And, yeah, I mean, you go down to 1,000, 10,000 is 10,000. And sejuta is 1,000,000. And you think, wow, these are big numbers, but $1 in Indonesia equals 13,500 rupiah. So if you're just going to the grocery store, you may end up spending at least 1,000,000 rupiah. So there's jokes a lot of times that when people buy something big, they have to bring a wheelbarrow along because there'll be so many rupiah they need to bring to the dealer.
Yeah. So the conversational expressions.
Selamat pagi.
Good morning.
Yeah. Apa kabar is really famous. Everybody loves it when you say apa kabar.
Baik.
That would mean, how are you? And she said, good. Funny story about bike. When Marty and I first met up in Minnesota, we were walking around a park and there was a sidewalk and there was a bike coming up behind us. So I said, bike. And she thought I was saying, she's good, she's good. But it was actually, watch out for the bike. So there's some words that are identically sounding in Indonesian and English. It's spelled differently, of course, but bike means good.
Same as, I forgot, air. Air is same spelling as air, but air means water in Indonesia. Okay, the next one, terima kasih is
thank you. And
thank you. And actually, literally means to give love.
Sama-sama.
Means you are welcome.
Right. And maaf.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maafkan saya. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And tidak means no.
Jangan.
Thank you.
Ini.
Oh, ini means this, and itu.
That. And
Saya tidak tahu would, saya means I, tidak means no, and tahu means no, K-N-O-W. So that was I know, no. So, but the last one is saya cinta kamu.
And I said thank you.
Yeah.
That means I love you.
Right. And if I don't, like with one of our guests, Joan, I would say saya tidak cinta kamu. That would be I don't love you. Saya is I, tidak, no. Cinta kamu is love you.
But for ini.
Yeah, that's Chinese.
Chinese. So borrowed and loaned words.
A lot of the words, because it's such a young language, a lot of the words are borrowed from other countries, the people that were doing trading with Indonesia, or just with people traveling to Indonesia. So Marti found these words that come from different countries, like bandera.
Bandera, bola, Portuguese.
They mean bandera is flag, bola is ball.
Yeah. Buku is book, is English.
Yeah. It was formed from hearing an English person say book.
Yeah, and then guru is Sanskrit for teacher, and dunya is world from Arabic, means the world. And kuda is horse, bihun is noodle from Chinese.
Yeah. And then not a lot, but there are a few words that are said, they're from Indonesian language that are used around the world. Like orangutan, which is orangutan in English, but it's pretty close. Literally, that means man, orang, and utan, jungle. So it's man of the jungle. You can see that word when you go to the zoo.
Yeah. So I said orangutan. Right. And bamboo.
Yeah, bamboo is also used in English. Amok is a word that they use there as a fierce fighter, and also means kind of a crazy get together in English.
Gecko.
Little lizard or an insurance salesman, same as in American English.
Rattan.
It's a material for chair.
And sago. Batik is a hand painted fabric from Indonesia. Long process of making it. And sarung.
It's like a cloth.
Wrap around.
Yeah, wrap.
Okay, and the next one, fun compound words.
Oh, yeah. So when I, was thinking about Marti when we first met, I'd say, oh, because I'd heard songs. Jantung Hati is a real romantic song. And then I thought it meant sweetheart, but then she translated it. It means Jantung is heart, Jantung is liver and Hati is heart. So I was like, oh, my heart liver, but it actually, they know it means sweetheart in Indonesian. It's just a funny term.
And orang tua is
old person,
but it's parent actually.
Matahari is another one. A lot of vocabulary. If you know mata and you know hari, eye, sun. Eye and hari is day. It's the day of the light of the day, or the eye of the day. Sorry.
So handkerchief, broom, tangan is hand. Yeah. So handkerchief is broom for your hand. So this is the phrase that we like to joke around in the house. Is we can say kuku kakiku kaku kaku. Can you guys say it? It means my toes are stiff. Kuku kakiku kaku kaku. Okay, the next one. So this is a fun children's song that I thought, because it has similar rhythm as other language. I'm sure Chinese has one to something like this. So it's a kepala, pundak, lutut, kaki, mean head, shoulders, knees and feet. And is that right? All of it?
Knees and toes.
Yes. Okay, I'll sing it. Kepala, pundak, lutut, kaki, kepala, pundak, lutut, kaki, mata, telinga, mulut, hidung, dan pipi. Kepala, pundak, lutut, kaki.
So yeah, it's the same song we sing when we were kids in America. It's nice because it kind of helps you remember those words. I come back to that later if we have time. But what was in?
Okay, we have a question here. Let me see. Okay, we got some.
Sago.
Some sago, yeah. Sago is cassava pearls or tapioca, but sago is actually the inside of the palm tree. So I guess the function is the same, to thicken something. But this sago is really good. Thank you, Laura.
And some more words that are used in other languages other than Indonesian. Kursi and anggur.
Yeah.
What is that? What do those mean?
Kursi is chair, anggur is grape, right?
Okay. And someone asked, is there a word for foreigner that one might hear when they're visiting Indonesia? And it's not really I know that when they see me a lot of times, they say bule, which pretty much means white guy.
White guy or gringo.
Gringo, yeah. It's not really a endearing term. It usually means this is probably someone we can make more money from. It was more the, they see the bule guy and they say, okay, this is the new price we're going to charge. And it'll be more expensive.
Yeah,
so,
but that happens.
Are there other words that mean foreigner? Is there an actual word that just means somebody not Indonesian?
Orang asing.
Asing.
Orang asing. Asing means stranger. Strange people.
Huh.
So, okay. Let me go to one thing that we want to share. We forgot to share. Let me see. Let's go back to
working our way up, learning.
Oh, not yet.
Sorry, just a second. Must have lost your.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
What is in the name? A lot of people think that I changed my name when I came to United States. But actually, Marti, the way I say it is Marti. I roll my R and then very clear T, doesn't sound like G. So it's Marti. And people here don't understand when I say that. People keep asking, what, Marti? Marci? No, Marti. So Marti is came from word March when I was born. March in Indonesian is Maret. Marti, that's my name, Marti. And it is really funny because
part of the reason, yeah.
My husband best friend in college, her name was Julie. So one day I asked her, hey, were you born in the month of July? And then she said, no. She was kind of annoyed. No, I was born in the month of September. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And then from now on.
Part of the reason Marti was a good name was Marty's mother 11 kids and Marti was number 9. I think she kind of ran out of ideas. And so that made sense. Hey, she was born in March. Let's call her Marti. So our oldest daughter is Darayu. And
that comes from 2 words. Darayu means pretty girl. And Saraswati
means goddess of knowledge. That was a tough one to live up to in this family. So, but yeah. And then
Bayu is is the name of god of wind, but
it's actually when they speak it used in Indonesia, Bayu is the wind that kind of shimmers on the paddy field, a gentle wind on a paddy field. So I picture the same in Kansas on a wheat field, on a kind of a windy day where you see that brush of a wind it's a gentle wind on those fields. So it's kind of nice that we live in Kansas where you can still see the bayou.
Yeah. So. And then we just got a new dog, rescue dog, and her name is Manis. Manis. That means
sweet in Indonesian. It's a sweet little dog. And Marty's sister's name is Putri. Putri means princess or daughter in Indonesian.
And-
So that was another easy one.
And that was really funny because everybody in my family, and actually it's very common in Indonesia, and we have our own name, no last name. So my full name is Marti Wulandari. And I went to school with my sister Putri, and her full name is Dasa Putri Hapsari. So when I told them, the registration office, that we are sisters, they said, how come you are sisters? You don't have same last names. But it's very common, and sometimes people just use one name.
Yeah.
And that's it. For example, some people maybe use name Marti. So I met a person who only have one name. So they put titik. Titik means period. So for example, if her name was Marti titik, Marti period, as a last name. So do you guys have any questions?
Go back to your screen.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions right away, feel free to unmute yourself or type them in the chat.
So, Marty, you know, we cannot resist. There's a lot of similarities. Kursi, we use the same word in Urdu, Hindi, and Arabic.
Yes.
So that was similar. I was wondering, I mean, we did ask the question about foreigners. In Africa, when you come, they say Mzungu, 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 white man. But in Indonesian, there is nothing besides what Jim said.
Bule.
Bule.
B-U-L-E. Yeah.
B-U-L-E. Okay. Thank you.
But it's not very nice to say, like, yeah. Like.
Well, yeah, because they say, yeah, like I said, it's always in some ways they know that they can ask for a higher price. There's the regular price and the boule price, and that's what you kind of got to watch out for.
Yeah. One time we went to a national park in Indonesia, and then I was ready to pay for the entrance fee, and then they check because we didn't get out of the car to buy the tickets. It's a drive-in park. So, and then the guy looked inside and then checked the people inside, and then they found out they're all white people, my children. Jim wasn't there. It's just me and my 3 children. And then they said, "Oh no, I have a special price for all white people." I said, "No, those white kids are mine." If you ask me to pay higher price, twice as expensive, it's my money. And then after they argued with the driver, and then they said, "Okay, go." So we left with the Indonesian price. Yeah. So, and do you have any question? If not, we can continue on a little bit about culture and.
Went through some of that if you want.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can.
If we can find the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So Indonesia from United States, from Kansas, is about 12 hours difference in time.
A 24-hour flight.
24 hours.
Going over the Pacific.
If you are lucky, one time I spent 42 hours with the stopovers. It's really, really far. And then Jim talked about this, and the ocean, Indian Ocean right here, South Pacific right there, and the Philippines is on the north, and Australia is on the south. And so the difference here between west and east is divided right here. And then this Bali, between Bali and Lombok Island here, is they said it's called Wallace Line because I think back in 1,000 years ago, it was a land and broke up maybe. And so the fauna and flora are different. So we have the animals are different here than on the left side. So it's really neat. And then the people in Papua is dark, like African people, like Brazil, yeah. So we split Papua Island with Papua New Guinea, and this is the part Indonesian right here. And then, of course, you heard about East Timor was under Portuguese, and then Indonesia took over, but then they fought, wanted to be independent with the help of Australia. They are independent now, but now they wanted to go back to Indonesia. So I don't know the story about that. And these people in Papua, and I don't know if you heard about this, but one of the Rockefellers couldn't be found when he traveled to Papua, and the story had they were eaten by cannibals, and there are still cannibals here. Okay, let me see if I can skip this, and I will go to the back, make things faster.
Oh, Indonesia's on the Ring of Fire, as you can see in this this map. A good chunk of there's a lot of problems in Indonesia with natural disasters. There's the big Aceh disaster back in 2004, where the tsunami hit Aceh, Sumatra Island. Over 200,000 people were killed. There's also just this last Saturday, there's a Samuro mountain in East Java that just erupted last week.
And then earthquake and flood and slide.
So being on that Ring of Fire is pretty. It seems like every couple of weeks there's a new national disaster to worry about. So it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it's very common. When I was growing up, every morning, I can see the magma, hot magma flowing down from the mountain, and also earthquake many times. And this is the largest flower in the world. It's called cadavers. It smells like cadavers. It's called Rafflesia arnoldi, and you can smell the smell.
It smells like a corpse.
Like millions, not million.
Maybe a mile
miles away. And then the size is about 10 feet from here to here, 10 feet, and then will usually blooms every 2-3 years for 3 to 7 days. And this flower grows in Borneo and Sumatra Islands. And this is the food, and some of them, it's not all, but like this nasi, we call nasi tumpeng, is like yellow rice upside down, and with a lot of stuff like chicken and eggs and all stuff. This is a celebration. Instead of like here in Western culture, you have a cake, birthday cake. We have this. It's very yummy. And same as this one. And satay, chicken satay is very popular too. It's a chicken on the steak.
A peanut-based sauce.
And most of it really spicy.
They like spicy in Indonesia.
Yeah.
A lot of coconut milk is used as an ingredient also. So yes. Sometimes not real healthy.
Not healthy. So when you read, I'm just kind of believe sometimes I read in the news about eating coconut milk is healthy. No, it's not. And these are different clothing that worn, and it doesn't look. It's they all look similar, but not, as Indonesian, I can tell they are not. And then also as Indonesian, I can tell by the accent where the people I'm talking to from. And I'm a Javanese. People can tell. I think somebody can tell that I have Javanese accent, even when I speak English. Okay, so this is the traditional music instrument. It's called angklung. And it's made of bamboo. And usually it comes in several octaves.
Okay. And there's usually, an orchestra of 24 or 15 folks. And so you can really, when they all get together, you can recognize the song. It's not just a bunch of noise. So it's really neat. We've had kids do it at the festival, come up and do a simple song, and it just sounds so neat. But it's just bamboo instruments together. Each one's a different note. The next picture shows the gamelan, I think, which is the instrument of.
Laura has question about you mentioned about gamelan
Just
group. Is it? Yes, gamelan group. I am the dancer, one of the dancers for the gamelan, and in Kansas City, it's a Balinese gamelan, and
you might be able to see the picture of the group here.
Yes,
in just a
just a
second. But yes, we'll definitely get you in touch with them. They'll always love to have somebody new.
This is
That's kind of what it looks like. That's not the gamelan that's here in Kansas City. I think if you go, that's the gamelan that looks more like the Kansas City gamelan that was purchased by UMKC about 18 years ago. They contracted a gamelan maker in Bali, and they had it shipped over to Kansas City, and it was a specially made operation. They brought a professor from Indonesia over to teach students about it. But after about 6 years, the administration changed, and now it belongs to a community group here in Kansas City, and they practice in Kansas City
twice a week usually. Twice a week. But
I'm not sure with COVID if they're doing so much right now, but I know they'd love to have extra members. It's each of these is like a little mini xylophone, and it's different notes and different sounds. And
it's handmade.
And it's Javanese is different than this. The ones from Java. This is, like we said, a Balinese one,
Balinese, yeah.
And the music is a little faster, and so it's a little more for the Western ear. I think that people enjoy it a little more. It's not quite so slow, but it's beautiful and
handcrafted. Everything
hand
is handcrafted,
hand carved.
And this is my daughter Sasa, and you were performing at the ethnic ball.
And the gamelan from Kansas City is on the stage behind. So yeah, it's a really neat thing here in Kansas City. It's not very common for a city to have a gamelan in town. So
yeah, we are very lucky.
You're in the right place. If that was Mary, I can't remember. Laura.
Yeah.
So we'll give you our phone number, and you can, or email, and we can give you information about the gamelan in a little bit. This is called Silat. It's the popular martial arts in Indonesia. This is actually my son on the left. He went over for a summer in Indonesia and practiced Silat, really enjoyed it. He had done Taekwondo in America, but he really enjoyed Silat even better. It was a real different experience.
Yes, it's different, he said. And another sport is called sepak takraw.
Yeah, it's like kick volleyball. It's a volleyball game where you don't get to use your hands. So it looks a lot different than volleyball, with the guys kicking their legs over the nets. And it's real popular in Indonesia.
In South East Asia countries, because we also have like Olympic game, but it's only for Asian country, Southeast Asian, and
it's a rattan made out of rattan.
Yes, so it's like this. Looks like this. The ball is like this, made of rattan.
Fun to kick around.
Yeah, and then what do we have left?
I think that was it.
No, wait. Oh,
check for questions one more time, and then. I think that's about it. One last review, if you have any questions as you're looking at all the pictures. But like I said, Marti has this ICKC is the Indonesian community of Kansas City, and Marti's kind of the mother of the Indonesians here in Kansas City. So like when there's a college kid coming from Indonesia at KU, they usually find out Marti's around so that they can get a home cooked meal. So it's kind of nice. Kansas City's a nice little area for the Indonesians. There's just enough where they can have fun together without it being overwhelming with about the 200 folks that are here. So I guess you need to check for questions.
Yeah, we have a little bit of chat going on. We have a question about any good Indonesian restaurants in Kansas City.
It's really too bad, but there's no Indonesian restaurants within about, I don't know how many miles, but maybe up in Des Moines or Wichita, 3 hours. But yeah, Kansas City had a couple of restaurants, but they haven't survived. The closest you're going to get is make friends with Marti. That's probably your best bet, and then come over for dinner sometime. Yeah. You have to go out to the coast, Philadelphia, Los Angeles. You can find a lot of Indonesian restaurants, New York. But I don't know. Does Seattle have any? I see one person from Seattle. Do they have any Indonesian restaurants? Yes or no?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't been there yet.
Cool. What else? Any other?
About gamelan and then the food. Okay. How about religions are commonly practiced in Indonesia? 90%, no, maybe more than 90% of population
Is Muslim.
Muslim.
Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. There's more Muslims in Indonesia than any other, more than Saudi Arabia, more than Iraq. No country has more Muslims than Indonesia. It's the most Muslims in the world.
Yes,
But there are other religions that are practiced there, Hindu and Christian. And but Muslims are pretty much the average.
Yeah, but I'm Muslim too. So, but we do not want, most Muslims do not want to have a state, Islamic state.
Yeah, still democracy.
Yeah, still democracy. So,
good question, Bruce. Malay and Indonesian are very similar, but there are differences. But they can pretty much understand each other. It's about like a Minnesotan going down to New Orleans. They can still understand each other, but they definitely know you're not from the neighborhood, if you know what I mean. They do have a few words that are different. I know that I used to speak Malay, and when Marty she didn't understand every single word I would say, and I didn't understand every single word she would say. But yeah, they're really close. They have the same roots, but they aren't identical by far.
Yeah, actually, even Indonesian in Indonesia, some Indonesian in Indonesia, like in Maluku's Syllabus Island, they have accent, and some accent, and sometimes I don't understand what they are saying. So,
yeah, good question. Names, right, they're not common at all. It's very so I don't know how far back you can look at a family tree. Do they keep records how do you keep track of family trees?
Indonesia, when we say a family, we mean a village. So it's very common in Indonesia to have a household with several family inside. It's I don't know, but we are Indonesian. Most Indonesian don't live out of Indonesia, not many. So we like to stay together with family.
The family's really, it's definitely a family-oriented society. I know that even a lot of times when a daughter gets married, they're expected to live a few years with the husband at home and with the mother and father, just to kind of get a feel for the family and be part of the family. Yeah. If that's too much, they'll be next door and living next door. So I know that a lot of the families we met live in the same household or in the same neighborhood. Of course, in a village, they can all, they stay close and tight knit. I think a lot of it would just be verbal. I mean, a lot of, the grandmother telling stories about, her childhood or her father. And I'm sure, but I don't think they write down.
Well, we tried to, our family started, but, it's really hard to keep up. Because like my family, my mom and dad had 11 children. And even my children, when they visit my back home, it's just so hard to keep track on who is who. Yeah. And we have to have a name tag.
Yeah. But
big family. It's fun. It's fun.
But yeah, but they definitely, when they're alive, the families are really close and stick together, and seem to know everyone. Yeah. That answers your question.
So let me check any more questions.
How often pre-pandemic would you travel back to Indonesia?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. You
3 times a year.
You might call me spoiled. 7 times sometimes, depending. Yeah.
Marty still has a lot of 11 and a lot of siblings over there and a lot of relatives to visit, and also with being involved with the Indonesian community here in Kansas City. She likes to check on things back at home for them, and we actually also have an export company. We import and export, and so sometimes she visits customers that we deal with in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So
it's not just visiting family, because when I go, I only go for at the most 10 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a long trip. But
I'm lucky if I get to go once a year, but that's pretty lucky. But yeah. Sorry.
So Jim, are you wearing an Indonesian shirt?
Yeah, this is an example of batik, the one where they use hot wax to make the design. And
Okay, my size is large. Can we order that right now?
Okay.
As soon as I gain more weight or lose weight, I don't need my shirt anymore. But
Okay, you are large, but Indonesian are small, so you have to have a triple L, right?
Extra large.
So you're saying I'm American, I'm extra large, huh?
what is the most popular request you get to bring back from Kansas City? Things that Marty brings back to Kansas City from Indonesia. I know that it used to be because she would wanted to have things to sell at the ethnic festival, were small trinkets, little things that wind up for kids, or the sarongs were real fun to have because you can wrap around your swimsuit or things like that. Dried things that are not illegal to bring in Kansas City or to the United States, like peanuts.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee is really good. The lawak coffee, which is the kind of coffee that is kind of pooped out of a monkey. It's real famous in coffee
expensive.
Connoisseurs.
Like 1 ounce is about $500. It's really expensive. Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, and a lot of times it just depends. Yeah, sometimes people have relatives, like people here in Kansas City have relatives that back at home in Indonesia, and they say, hey, can you take this, plaque or this present back to my family? So Marty's kind of a courier in that respect too, for people that don't get to go back home very often.
Because I go so often, sometimes my luggage are empty. So I'm glad to help out.
She can do favors. But good question.
Yeah, one time though, I brought, because I'm allowed to bring 3 bags, luggage, big bags. So I brought a lot of cereals.
That was to Indonesia.
To Indonesia, yeah. A lot of cereal from here to Indonesia. And going back home, empty from here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because American food imported in Indonesia is very expensive. It has to go all around the world. So that's a kind of an easy present to give, is boxes of American cereal. Yeah. So it's an easy thing to bring that people eat up, and
so cereal, like,
don't have to worry about the size.
Sometimes we go on sale, buy on sale for $1.99, and over there never on sale. Sometimes the price is $10, $15 a box. Yeah. So hey. Anything else?
Well, if there's
the biggest, yeah. Well, I was just going to say the biggest event that the Indonesians have here in Kansas City is the Independence Day. It's August 17th usually, or the weekend near August 17th. That's Independence Day for Indonesia, which is still a relatively young country, 1949. And so 45. Or 45. That's when everybody in Indonesia kind of comes together and celebrates, and kids get to, the best part I like about it is the kids get to see a little bit more about Indonesia than they probably saw in a long time. And it kind of lets them feel their roots for at least a day. They play Indonesian games. There's lots of Indonesian songs. And so yeah. So that's the big event. If you ever need to know, if you ever want to come, just give Marty a shout and we'll put you on the invite list. Park outside.
Here's the game.
Last thing.
It's called Chongklak. It's like, what is it?
Mancala. I think every country has this game, but it's got a different name. Game where you play beads or marbles or whatever you can find, and 2 people play and they go around. It's fun for kids. I've seen old people play it. Everybody likes it. Pretty easy game. Nice, like I don't know, backgammon. Yeah. So that's it. Unless anybody has any more questions, I think.
One last question. How much does it cost to go to Indonesia, and what would it be like if somebody was to stay a week? How much would one need to have on hand?
A lot of depends. Number one, it depends on when you go to Indonesia. Chinese New Year is a high price, or if it's a traveling time before and after the school year. So I mean, cheapest I've ever seen from Kansas City is $800 round trip, which is really good. But I've seen it go up to $1,500, $1,800. And the other thing you said was how much you would need. If you're flying into Jakarta, it's kind of like going to a big city like New York or Los Angeles. It's pretty expensive to get around. You'd have to take taxi, if you want to stay in a nice hotel. But if you went to a small village, you know, it could be pretty cheap. I mean, even if you stayed at a place that had a nice small hotel, you know, $10 a night, that kind of thing, $15.
Well, thank you. So since we know Marty and we said family is so important, and if I said I'm Marty's friend, I could live with the family.
Or if you could fit into one of her bags, that might be the best thing to do. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a good point. I mean, when we travel, usually we stay with family because they're so friendly and you can get really good food. And
but my son Bayu went to Indonesia 2 years ago, and it was so cheap. And then he stayed in really cheap Airbnb. So, oh my God, he stayed 10 days in Bali and climbed mountain in a.
Yeah. I'm sure with the internet now, if you're fluent with internet, I bet you can really get some pretty good deals, depending on how you can live.
If you don't care about not staying in 4-star, 5-star hotel, you know.
Like I say, contact Marty if you ever need to know anything else about Indonesia, or if you need any connections for some reason, or you needed to bring something back from Indonesia.
Yeah.
Or if you want to learn about the Gamelan.
Cooking. And we have actually at the last festival, ethnic festival, Indonesia, my family cooked satay, chicken satay. And you maybe I can ask.
It's on the Facebook page.
Yeah, on Facebook page.
Yeah. Thanks though for everybody listening. It was really nice of you all to come out on a busy night.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone who joined, and Jim and Marty, of course. Thank you so much for donating some of your time and preparing this fascinating presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll hope to see you soon on another IRC event. So enjoy your night, everyone, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Love you.
Stay until.
Bye. Thank you, Boini.
Thank you,
Boini.
I love you.
No, I would say Boini.
What's that mean? You love us both?
It's plural. I love you. Thank you. That's great.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later. See you around. Bye-bye. Great job.